Born on October 7th, 1959, in London, Simon Cowell grew up in a household that looked comfortable from the outside, but often felt emotionally distant within. His mother, Julie Brett, carried the elegance of a former ballet dancer and socialite, while his father, Eric Cowell, worked in the music industry and valued discipline above everything else. Their home in Hertfordshire offered stability and opportunity, yet young Simon often felt overlooked. Praise was rare and affection was not openly expressed. Those quiet absences shaped him more than anyone realized. As a child, he longed to be noticed, to hear that he was doing well, to feel proud of himself through someone else's eyes. Instead, he learned to rely on his own determination. That early sense of invisibility didn't crush him. It planted the first seeds of a drive that would one day push him toward the spotlight. A difficult student. Searching for direction school was never easy for Simon. At Radlett Preparatory School and later Dover College, he struggled with structure and expectations. Teachers often saw him as restless or rebellious rather than curious or creative. The traditional classroom environment simply didn't inspire him. He wasn't uninterested in learning. He just didn't connect with the rigid system around him. By the time he left school, he had few academic qualifications and even fewer clear plans for the future. Watching peers move forward into careers and universities made him question his own path. For a young man already unsure of himself, it felt like another confirmation that he was falling behind. Yet those years quietly shaped his resilience. The frustration he felt in school eventually pushed him towards something more practical and hands-on, a world where instinct and ambition mattered as much as academic credentials. The mail room that changed everything. Simon's father eventually helped him secure a small job in the mailroom at EMI Music Publishing. It was the lowest position in a glamorous industry, far from the spotlight he would later command. His days were spent sorting letters, carrying paperwork, and observing the busy flow of music executives around him. At first, the work felt humbling and repetitive, but over time, something interesting happened. Simon began paying close attention to how the business actually worked. He watched producers discuss artists, studied how songs were marketed, and noticed what made records succeed. The mailroom slowly became his classroom. Instead of feeling invisible, he began absorbing knowledge about an industry driven by taste, timing, and public connection. Without realizing it, Simon was laying the foundation for a future career, learning lessons that no school could have taught him. A risky leap into the music business. In the early 1980s, Simon worked his way into an A&R role and eventually took a bold step, starting his own record label. Alongside business partner Ellis Rich, he launched Fanfare Records, hoping to carve out a place in the competitive music industry. At first, things looked promising. The label found success with pop acts like Sanita and novelty records that connected with audiences. For Simon, it felt like proof that his instincts were right. The confidence that came from early success was exhilarating. He attended industry parties, negotiated deals, and finally experienced what it meant to be seen as a rising executive. Yet the music industry is famously unpredictable. Trends shift quickly, and what works one year may fade the next. As the market changed, the label struggled to keep pace. The excitement that had fueled Simon's early success began to give way to uncertainty. When failure forced a fresh start. By the end of the 1980s, Fanfare Records collapsed financially. The business closed, leaving Simon with debts and a difficult reality to face. At 30 years old, he moved back into his parents' home and reconsidered his future. for someone who had just tasted success. Returning to his childhood bedroom felt like a humbling reset. Yet this period also became a turning point. Instead of giving up, Simon studied what had gone wrong and what he could do differently. He realized that success in music didn't always come from impressing critics. It often came from understanding what everyday listeners loved. That insight changed his approach completely. Slowly, he rebuilt his career through consulting work and industry connections. The experience taught him resilience, patience, and the importance of listening to audiences rather than chasing approval. Television introduces a new kind of judge. In 2001, Simon accepted an opportunity that would change his life, becoming a judge on the singing competition Pop Idol. Television was unfamiliar territory, but it offered a new way to connect with audiences. When the show aired, viewers immediately noticed his candid style. Unlike traditional judges who offered gentle feedback, Simon spoke honestly about performances, praising strong talent while encouraging others to improve. Some viewers found his approach surprising, but many appreciated the authenticity. The show quickly became popular, and Simon's personality stood out. When the concept expanded internationally with American Idol in 2002, his influence grew even larger. Millions of viewers tuned in each week, and the competition launched the career of stars like Kelly Clarkson. Simon had finally stepped into the spotlight himself, building a global entertainment empire. After the success of American Idol, Simon didn't slow down. He created new television formats, including The X Factor and Got Talent. These programs expanded beyond singers to include groups, dancers, magicians, and performers of all kinds. The idea was simple: give ordinary people a stage and let audiences decide who deserved to shine. The formula proved incredibly successful. Shows like Britain's Got Talent introduced unforgettable moments, including the breakout performance of Susan Boyle. Meanwhile, The X Factor helped launch global sensations such as One Direction. Simon's production company turned these formats into international franchises seen in dozens of countries. Within a few years, he had built one of the most influential entertainment empires in television history. An unexpected chapter: becoming a father. Despite his enormous professional success, Simon's personal life changed dramatically in 2014 when his son Eric was born. Fatherhood introduced a new perspective that even decades in the entertainment industry had not provided. Named after Simon's father, Eric quickly became the center of his world. Friends noticed how priorities shifted. The executive who once focused almost entirely on work began arranging his schedule around family time. Simple moments, reading stories, playing games, or sharing meals became more meaningful than red carpets or ratings. Fatherhood softened Simon's outlook and reminded him that success isn't only measured by professional achievements. The experience helped him appreciate patience, empathy, and presence in ways he hadn't before. For the first time, he began speaking openly about balance, family, and the importance of enjoying everyday life. Health challenges that changed his perspective. In 2020, Simon experienced a serious accident while testing an electric bike at his home in California. The fall caused significant injuries to his back and required surgery and months of rehabilitation. Recovery was slow and demanded patience. Physical therapy, careful exercise, and lifestyle adjustments became part of his routine. Although the experience was difficult, it also encouraged him to rethink how he approached work and health. He gradually slowed his pace and focused more on well-being and family time. The experience reminded him how quickly life can change, and how important it is to appreciate each day. Rather than returning immediately to his old routine, Simon used the period of recovery as an opportunity to reassess his priorities and focus on living with greater balance. Reflection, growth, and a different legacy. Today, Simon Cowell continues to appear on shows within the Got Talent franchise, but his role feels different. Experience has brought a calmer, more reflective presence. He still enjoys discovering talented performers, yet his approach often includes encouragement and thoughtful advice. Off camera, he has also spoken about supporting charitable causes, particularly those focused on children's health and creative opportunities. The man, once known mainly for sharp critiques, has grown into someone who values mentorship and kindness. His life story, spanning early struggles, industry success, personal challenges, and transformation, shows that growth never stops. Simon Cowell's legacy is no longer defined only by hit shows or global fame. It is equally defined by resilience, learning from mistakes, and understanding that success is most meaningful when it is shared with others.